Picture yourself seated in a chair at home. You're going through a magazine or a catalog, or maybe you hear a radio announcement, and it's announcing that Sears, Roebuck & Company currently running a sale. And you can place your catalog order for the new item now and get that sale price. You can even do a layaway plan, purchase now, pay as you go for the future. But what are you getting that's on sale? Gravestones? And entering into 2025, today I'm going to cover something very interesting. Did you know as late as 1993, you could purchase a headstone, tombstone, or gravestone through a mail order catalog? In 1902, Sears and Roebuck & Company came upon the idea that people needed headstones at reasonable prices, and they were willing to offer them. So they had an extensive catalog with a great variety of granite, different types of color stones, and of course engravings and different styles. And they are everywhere. Once you start looking, you start seeing them throughout. There's also metal tombstones. Sometimes the metal tombstones came in pieces and could be put together and assembled and put on a grave. And those held up extremely well. Maybe a little tarnishing here and there, but otherwise, you'd be surprised. Easy to read, the inscription's always visible. So let's look at a few unique things. So we are going to look at a couple gravestones while we are here. Here's a good example. Great deal of the tombstones that resembled a tree were actually mail order tombstones. I'll try not to show the direct front of this one with the name, but you could see the detail on this. And it's beautiful. So maybe I don't mind saying, showing people the name of this gentleman when he has a beautiful tombstone and a lovely marker. So in 1902, Sears and Roebuck started selling them out of catalog. 1920, Montgomery Wards followed suit, decided to pick out their own and start selling them. There was money in it, obviously. This particular one over here is another example. These lasted a great deal of time, and they're metal. So once in a while you'll see one that has some tarnishing on it, but otherwise the engraving's perfect. The corners even held up well. The details held up well. I mean, you're talking about overall a lovely grave marker. And you could order them inscribed. So absolutely beautiful. Swinging around the camera, we're closing in on an absolutely stunning and absolutely beautiful tree. It is just the cut portion of the tree with the details. Firm bottom, curved sides, bark. I mean, these are pretty stunning. And if you look through the catalog, there are quite a few that would actually fit into any range on some of these granite tombstones. So this is actually a very common one also, with the top. As you can see on the top of it, how it is scrolled and how it comes down. So that's actually a very common style that was available. There was a great deal that were rather elaborate, that were easy to purchase as well. You can look over these examples from the catalogs and you can see the varying prices, and of course these elaborate ones are more money, but you're talking granite, marble, you're talking designs and styles, all the inscription details, and all of that, plus they delivered. Sears and Roebuck had them in their catalog up until 1993. You could still purchase them. This particular one is a roll top. And of course, you can see why. They were very common also. It's actually really beautiful. And when you looked at these and went through the catalog, they had various verses that you could choose. I'm going to point out that the stones started for the price of $4.88 and could range upward to $48. So when imagining a $4.88 stone, it might be a little marker, maybe a little monument marker, but there's also these very small tombstones. And that, once again, is a metal one. The catalog options had small, medium, and large in size. They also had monuments on a much grander scale. With all of these options, you can actually have them topped with further adornments, add-ons. Supersize me. They also offered benches. They offered fences that you could put around the family burial plots. And of course, you had trends as well. You had an unfinished look, which was part of the monument simply looks raw, natural or jagged edges that faded into a well-carved design that was exquisite in quality. You had the nature trend with the various tree types. If I was going to have a memorial stone, give me a tree. Obviously, the tree was very popular, as you can see from all the pictures. But that tree is so symbolic of the actual person or character themselves, such as me. That tree would represent the nature and how I'm always outside doing stuff. It was a great choice for some people. And a lot of these were used by families as a marker of what kind of families were in the area or buried nearby. A great deal of these we walking past. Some of these might indeed be mail order tombstones. Metal, absolutely beautiful after all these years. Very unique. We have another over here, right there. It's very common to see the top on that one. It was also considered something of the latest and greatest at that time. And something else that was very unique. You could order, besides the markers and stuff, you could order fencing. And they would get you fencing, and you could use that fencing for the plot area around your family. So it was, the options were very, very unique. And the whole concept is very unique. You could just grab that catalog, look it up, order what you need. So I had mentioned earlier that a great deal of these mail order ones, such as this type, were used by general families. That's because they had family members that died at various times. So as they died, they had simple place markers in surrounding areas. And you begin to not be able to read them. So as time goes on, a family may want, because sometimes you're not going to get a plot beside each other all the time. Most of the time you can, but it's not guaranteed. So they would get a generalized marker with many of the family members listing on them. And there they'd put that in place in the generalized area where the family lies. And look at it, about the most you ever see. There's a little bit of tartar sheet. How was the mail order business? Per historical records, sales dipped during the Depression, then during World War I and World War II. And of course, eventually with the onset of more shopping options and a fickle buyer, eventually the catalogs and the mail order went by the wayside. When watching these various markers during my walk, compare them with the prior ads from the catalog, and you'll quickly see the similarities and begin to recognize which ones are mail order. If you want to explore on your own, watch for several different factors. Watch the dates. First, mail order was in 1902 and 1920 for Montgomery wards. So there are a few other minor players, but none significant other than those two. When watching those dates, consider that you might come upon a metal or a granite with many names and many dates. It just may be a mail order because often they put one in place to represent the earlier ones that have become difficult to read. Look over the various catalog pics and you'll start to see shapes and designs. Think about this. This started with a catalog sent to people's homes with options to purchase and have it delivered. Then we went to more traditional monument businesses with examples and courteous experts to review the options. Now, many of these businesses are kind of gone or downsized, and it seems that we've come full circle, but instead of catalogs, it's by computer, and you can still arrange for delivery to your home or the cemetery or place of interment. Get on Amazon. You can buy these plaques with pictures and details of loved ones, or you can even buy an entire headstone. Search for a human grave marker, memorial stone, or similar wording. But be careful and remember when you order one. Before you seal that envelope, you better be sure you got all the details correct. Otherwise, it could be eternally embarrassing. But don't worry, it's only an error that you'll have to live with the rest of your life. In doing my video today, I wanted to be as respectful as possible to the people that may have gravestones, headstones, tombstones, and I try not to show any names. At the same time, I want people to see that these mail order tombstones are absolutely beautiful and a great sense. So thanks for watching our video, and if you like, please comment, share, and tell your friends.